Hello, my amiable students. In this lesson, we'll be looking at Koppens' classification of climate. That means the typographies that were propounded by Koppens in order for geographers to deal with climate. The objectives of these lessons are 1. Background to Koppens' classification scheme. Importance of merits of Koppens' classification scheme. The criticism or shortfalls of Koppens' classifications of climate. Dr. Vladimir Koppens was a Dutch climatologist born in St. Petersburg in Russia. He propounded the theory of the classification scheme as a way to help farmers and European agriculturists to get out of their dilemma in increasing their crop yields per season. He demarcated the world into 5 climatic belts or zones in both hemispheres with 6 or at least 6 or 3 subvariants or sub-belts. In the layman's language, Koppens' belts are A. Tropical, B. Arid, C. Temperate, D. Continental or interior climate, and E. Polar or Arctic climate. Technically, he divided the world into 5 climatic belts with alphabets A to E as the variants or types of belts in the climatic region. These areas are 1 or A. Tropical rainy climate, B. Dry climate or arid climate, C. Warm temperate rain climate or humid microthermic climate, D. Cool temperate, snowy or microthermic climate. Then finally we have polar climate or climate in the Arctic region. For further clarification, he also had some subvariants or subclimatic belts that were ranging from different alphabetical series. In other places apart from the polar region, he had climatic types like F, which represent humid climates, M to represent monsoon climates, W to represent high moisturized or high moist or humid climate conditions. While in the polar region, he had T and capital letter F to represent snowy areas and ice cap areas that were in permanent frost conditions. In his demarcations, A represented tropical climates with subvariants as AF for rainforest climate, AW and AM to represent continental and monsoon climates in the tropical regions. B represented all dry climates or arid conditions all over the world with extreme temperatures or high temperature delineations. In both hemispheres, we have BSH, which represent hot steppe, cool desert as BSK, hot desert as BWH, cold desert as BWK. The alphabet C represented warm temperate climate that was humid microthermic in nature. That is areas that were differentiated by rainy conditions, but they tend to be humid throughout the whole year. So in this climatic condition, they were mainly differentiated by precipitation to be rainfalls of different types. CFA, CFB, and CFC had all year round moisture conditions that were raining or that were moist all year round. While in CFA, summers were hot, CFB, summers were warm, and CFC had cool summer. Those with alternate seasons of hot summer and rainy winter were CWA, CWB, rainy winter, and those with rainy winter and warm summer were CSA and CSB. D though represented cool, temperate, snowy microthermic conditions or climates that has differentiated seasons of 4 distinct seasons of different types. There are autumn, summer, winter, and others were different from one another. So these conditions were ranging from hot summers to cool, harsh, severe winters, where winters can be differentiated by its harshness or thickness in the snow levels. Those with moist conditions all year round but were marked with summers that were warm or hot were DFA, DFB, and those that changed in winters that were very drastic or pronounced were DFC, DFD, which he termed snowy forest. Then finally, for this region, we have those that have from 0 to -3 degrees Celsius of temperatures that produce snowy conditions in winter but not icy in nature. So these were DW, DWA, DWB, and DWC, as well as DWD, where DWD was specifically different due to its harsh or severe winter conditions. E represented areas with permanent frost conditions or icy conditions, which were mainly in the Arctic and the Antarctic regions, but though these terms were unheard of at that time. ET represented cold climate, while EF represented permanent frost condition at the extreme parts of the world with blizzards and permanent ice caps. At present day conditions, these variants tend to be defined by the climate change condition that we have at the moment. As point of emphasis, F in the E represented frost conditions, while T represented icy or harsh cold permanent conditions in the Arctic belt that were permanently in icicle forms. What are the advantages or importance of Koppens classification of climate? Though Greeks were the first earliest classification, it was the first scientific and empirical climatic scheme that can be subjected to calculations, hypothesis, inference, and other scientific methods. It was an account of a specialist or a scientist rather than an account of traders and seafarers. It can also be used for higher education due to its scientific methods. In the initial stage, it was used by farmers and European agriculturists. What are the shortcomings or criticisms? 1. It was too complex. Koppens failed to add mountain climate, which was later added by Giga, his follower. The demarcations were too rigid, making it too empirical to understand. Lastly, Koppens relied heavily on European climatic conditions rather than elsewhere in the world, which can be misleading in application to other areas like Africa and the Newfoundland. With this, we come to the end of this climatic classification. We say till the next lesson. Au revoir.